All right, y'all, we're back. HSC Podcast 178, session two of our weekly podcast with our weekly movie reviews. One of the things that we've been doing for the movie reviews is we've been picking, actors a lot. We did a lot of top fives. I actually really like what we're doing this week with, it's not even a genre, right? It's kind of just picking movies that are revenge movies, and that's this week's topic is it's more than just this is an actor, this is a genre, right? So this is a great topic, and I like to see how this one goes. And when you're watching the movies, you actually are thinking about it, right? You're thinking about, oh, okay, I'm watching these because they're revenge movies, so that's great. But for everybody's favorite section before we start the actual movie review, we're going back to really hard trivia. This is interesting because as I have this list that I've given you guys a couple on, some of them are hard, some of them aren't, and some of them are overly hard. But I think we got a good three questions here for you guys. You guys ready? Okay, so first question, really hard trivia. What do the films Shawshank Redemption, Stand By Me, Carrie, and The Green Mile have in common?
Besides being Stephen King books.
There it is, Stephen King books.
All right.
Told you guys, I think you guys have a good chance at this one. So Derek nailed that one right away.
Go, Turk.
Did you know that one, Wes?
No. No. Shut up, Eric.
You know that. Let him know in the comments. I think Derek might go three for no way he's going three for three. All right. Who is the only character in Star Wars feature films to wield a purple lightsaber?
You got that with Wes.
Oh, well, Mace Windu?
Ace Windu knocks it out of the park. Derek, I'm sure you knew that one as well.
Yeah.
Derek knows.
How was that hard trivia?
Hey, it's not my hard trivia, right? We're testing
Did Holly
other
pick that
folks.
one out?
We're testing other people's really hard trivia.
Oh,
So
geez.
two for two. Now you want to impress the group and the crowd, the listeners, get this one right. I think this is a little more impressive. What's the highest grossing horror film of all time and what year was it made? Highest grossing horror film of all time. It's post 2000. It's the only hint I'm going to give you.
Close to
5 seconds on the clock.
There's so many horror movies.
Okay, time's up. Got a guess? No guess?
No.
So the question is, what's the highest grossing horror film of all time? And I'm not going to give you the answer. If you think you know the answer, put it in the comments. You
All
guys
right.
can look later. We'll see how good our listeners are. If you cheat and look it up and put it in the comments, I'll know. So don't do that.
I mean, is Parasite considered horror?
No. Can't be.
All right, two for three. So good job. 2 out of 3. I love it. All right. Well, with this week's movie review, like I said, we're doing revenge movies. So let's jump right into that because we have three, I mean, completely different time frame movies, style of movies. Like, I mean, these are just like they're the same but different, if that makes sense, right? Because they're all revenge movies. But well, I think we should lead off with Wes's movie because I personally think it's the best of the three. And so your revenge movie is Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, which a lot of people claim to be the best of the series. So the question is for the reviews, what about the plot in Wrath of Khan made you think revenge movie and I need to pick this for a revenge movie review?
Because Ricardo Montalban should have been at least recognized and nominated for Best Supporting Actor. And those lines in the movie are iconic when it comes to revenge. I mean, revenge is a a dish best served cold. The great lines like that. He tests me. He tests me, and I will have him. I will chase him around the moons of the lines. You could just tell he's mad.
Right.
He's angry, and just the title, "The Wrath of Khan." Just
That's a
the
good point,
title
right?
itself explains that this is a dude that's unhappy with Captain Kirk, and it is the best. I like Into Darkness just because it's kind of like a newer version of it. But The Wrath of Khan is actually a scary and hard movie to watch when you're a kid, when you're 4 years old, like I was. Um, you know, the creatures that they put in their ears,
Oh yeah.
it is. I still can't watch it. I think I was scarred for life with the creatures in the ears.
I don't care who you are, if you're watching it happen in a video or a movie or
Yeah.
anything like that, anytime stuff crawls in your ear, in
Yeah.
anybody's ears, not your ears, like anybody's ears,
And
it gives
it's
you
Chekhov, dude. You can't do that to Chekhov. And the best part, see, the wrath that flips a little bit. Remember, like when they chase him down in the nebula, and then Kirk's like torpedoes, and so Chekhov got the revenge in the end because he's the
oh
one
yeah,
that blew him out of the sky.
right. Yeah, I mean, that's the perfect reasoning, I guess, to choose a revenge movie, right? Because I don't think you could pick a better title. You're right. You think of it like The Wrath of Khan, that's amazing. Um, and the movie, it's a movie about the two guys, right? One's the hero, and the guy is the guy trying to get his revenge on the hero. So it's definitely fits the mold of what we were looking for this week's reviews. What's the goods and the bads of this movie, if any? Derek, what do you think?
I don't know. This is a masterpiece. What you talking about? Bad. No, I mean, when I was a kid, though, I did not like that movie because of the ear thing.
The eels, yeah,
Yeah, but now, like as an teenager, on is like this is the best Star Trek movie by far.
Yeah.
And Ricardo Montalban is so amazing in it, and then I love his number one, who's like, dude, let's go,
yeah.
we're
He-
good.
he's like a voice of reason.
Yeah.
He's like, you've defeated the plans of Admiral Kirk. He's like, he tests me.
It's like, yeah.
I like I also like that they tied a really good storyline into it with Genesis and the revenge at the same time. So it's not just a full on only revenge movie. There's a good plot to it, and there's not often times where you want to side with the revenge guy because he plays the role so well. And this is one of those movies you watch and you're like, sometimes you're like, go Khan,
Well,
but
they never checked on him.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the other, I know this isn't the revenge part, but my goodness, this was like the quintessential Bones McCoy movie.
Right.
He like, he goes into once he goes into search for Spock, but in this, he's like, you green-blooded. He goes full
He
like
does.
caricature.
He's pretty, yeah. When they started watching the Genesis video, he was pretty harsh
Yep. That's
toward,
what you call old school right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Old school Bones. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of bad to the movie, to be honest. Unless you're not a if you're like hardcore against, sci-fi, these types of movies, you're gonna enjoy the movie, right? If it's totally not your cup of tea and you just hate sci-fi and you hate the
Well,
space and that type, you might not
but
enjoy the
remember
movie.
this is 1982, and I don't know if you guys watch some of the remaster on YouTube. Like I'll watch a bunch of Star Trek how they reenact the scenes with better special effects. That's the only thing I'd say. I don't like the laser shooting thing. It's fine, but it's 1982.
Right.
I mean, what are we expecting
Yeah,
here?
you take what you can get
Yeah,
from 1982 movie,
yeah,
dude.
true enough.
Overall, even considers 1982 is still pretty well done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I didn't think there's a lot of bad to this movie. Like I said, that's the only thing I'd recommend would be, if science fiction, you hate it, your boyfriend's a Trekkie and you don't like it, don't watch it.
No, no, but if you don't know a lot about Star Trek, it is the one Star Trek movie that's not a Star Trek movie. It's
No.
not nerdy. It's not the other movies. There's some good scenes in them, but they're really not that great of movies. I get
Right.
it why Trekkies or people that don't like Star Trek is because the other movies are not that great.
Well, you're only supposed to watch even. Two, 4, and 6.
Yeah.
Although,
No, dude.
although
Dude,
I do like Search for Spock.
Right,
dude,
right.
the
You gotta,
search for Spock is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I
yeah.
do like Search for Spock.
Yes.
Wait,
I
you,
mean, Motion Picture and
yeah.
Boo.
Final Frontier. Oof.
No, but again, it has a great part in the end. I didn't like the Final Frontier. I don't like the sixth one either, but the end of the fifth one is pretty cool. Just
Look, I'm gonna break
Captain
it.
Kirk outsmarting everybody.
I
That
like them all, dude. Like I like them all. I'm gonna break it. I like them all. I
like
don't
Even
Star
care.
Trek
Motion Picture.
Generations.
Yeah, I mean they're all great. It's Star Trek.
Can't like that one. That's where Captain Kirk dies,
Does
dude.
that make me a
Not
Trekkie?
cool.
I mean, it's like Star Wars. Look, I got complaints about all the movies, but you
Oh,
know what? I still love them all.
that's another subject. We should get to this.
Yeah, we don't want to go too deep into that.
Yeah.
So, uh, the last thing I would say about that movie, though, is the end. Right? Obviously, it's huge with Spock and the sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice, and the mind meld, and all the good Vulcan stuff, right? And so I love that part of the movie too. And so it's definitely you get the whole movie from start to finish, and it doesn't let up.
The good of the one outweighs the good of the many. Or is the good of the many
Yeah. So apparently Spock's a socialist. People are gonna love that one. Sorry. All right, well, let's move back to the movie section here. Um, let's move over to my movie. We'll finish with Derek's. So mine I hadn't seen in a while, man, and it's intense. So I chose Cape Fear,
Jeez.
and there's a couple Cape Fears, so don't get this confused. This is the De Niro and Nolte Cape Fear. Have you guys seen the original Cape Fear, by the way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did watch it, and I was like, this is definitely one of the remakes that's better than the first one.
Well, I think it's the time frame of when it was made.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but it's black and white, and
Well, I mean, Robert Mitchum is pretty
Oh,
scary.
yeah.
yeah.
He's a good actor.
Well, speaking of scary, I mean, 1991, Robert De Niro. At that time, the guy was really into his roles, and man, does he get into this role. So the reason I picked this one as a revenge movie is because I don't think that there's much more you could do in a revenge situation, and much more reason to like go for your revenge, right? And most people relate to it. And he was imprisoned, I guess you could say rightfully, but he was the evidence buried by the lawyer, maybe extended his time or made him get time at all. And so the fact that you're getting a guy who's coming off of 13 years in prison because of what he found while he was in prison, which is that his lawyer buried evidence, that's going to upset a dude. And then you talk about the role that De Niro plays and the guy he plays, he's already kind of a crazy dude anyway. So now you're doubling up on the fear. So Cape Fear, they call it that. Obviously, that's where they take the boat at the end, and there's a lot that happens throughout the movie. But this, to me, it's I don't know, it's scary in the sense that's not a horror movie, but it's if you were in that situation, it's a pretty scary situation when you think about someone like that coming to take that type of revenge. I think they both do a great job acting in the movie. And then what's her name that plays the daughter? I just forgot.
Juliette Lewis.
Yeah, Juliette Lewis is like losing her mind throughout it, and she does a great job. So overall, acting's great, but I think the plot really kind of encompasses what a revenge movie should be like. So goods and bads of Cape Fear. I don't know. It's hard to watch sometimes. There's parts in it that you just want to turn your head. There's parts of it and you're just like, oh man, this is so rough.
Yeah.
So it's
It,
kind of a hard watch unless you got you got a little
oh
bit of
yeah. I mean,
fortitude.
if you're not like the movie was made in the early '90s, and Nick Nolte himself, it's hard just to watch him because of knowing that he screwed up in a sense, and then how it implicates his daughter, and
Or
it,
endangers her.
yeah, endangers her, and then the dog, and
Oh,
then the dog scene is like, and like in some part it's hard to watch because some of his lines, De Niro's lines are funny. Like it's like you're laughing, but it's not funny
right.
because he's a psychopath and a killer. And then the boat scene is the worst.
Oh my
It's like,
gosh. When he gets burnt, dude, you're like, this is like next level
yeah,
freaky, right? Because you already are like scared of this dude. And now you've got him like half
but
burned across the face and like in his like killer mode that he can't be stopped.
yes, like this is a movie where parental guidance is just it's hardcore.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like the bad. I mean, you get it, but it was hard to watch at some points. Like all the stuff he did with Elena Douglas too, and it's
Yeah.
like, ugh.
Oh yeah.
Mm. But and then you're like watching and you're like, God, he's such a good actor though. So and you know what I mean? It's like it's a hard watch in parts, but then you're like, well, it's very well acted. Him like Juliette Lewis does a great job.
Oh, he's it's super believable. And then I like how the plot itself, they throw in like the that feeling and like that nothing can be done about it, right? And then they try to like take matters into their own hands with the private eye guy, and then
Oh
he's
yeah.
acting all tough, and you're just like, oh, that's gonna be a bad idea,
It's
dude.
gonna go. It's gonna go south. You knew it was just gonna go wrong.
Right. So for what it was, I thought they did a great job of adding additional scenes to make the movie a little more interesting, stretch it out a little bit, and keep you interested in the movie itself. I would say that there's not a lot of bads to the movie, except again, it's just be prepared to watch a graphic movie and hold on to your stomach. All right, and then well, there's the finish, right? So we got Derek. You chose Once Upon a Time in the West,
It's my turn to go for a
1968.
long, yeah. I went with the long movie this time, Wes.
Yeah,
So
it's really long. By the way, I had to watch it over like almost 2.5 days.
yes. Well, yeah, because what the credits at the beginning are like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I picked this because this to me is the quintessential Western, spaghetti Western revenge movie. Um, and you always like you look at Unforgiven, you look at Quick and the Dead, you look at these other movies of revenge. But for me, this one with Charles Bronson, and all he's like just playing a harmonica, dude, just playing a harmonica. And you don't really know. He's like, okay, he's just some dude playing harmonica. And then at
It's
the
a,
end, you're like, oh,
right.
this is why he's playing that harmonica.
Yeah, so we're not gonna give that away, but it's a great part to the movie.
Hmm. And then like you have this woman coming from New Orleans going to meet her husband and meet his family for the first time, and she shows up and they're all dead. And so
Yeah.
she gets revenge also.
It's like a double revenge movie.
Right. And then like the acting, like Henry Fonda plays the villain as Frank. Um, Jason Robards plays Cheyenne, which might not be good nowadays, but
Right? I thought he did a great job.
he did a great job. And that was like when you first meet him and you don't know what's going on, you're like, okay, this guy's the bad guy. And
Right.
you're like, no, that guy's actually pretty cool. And so for me, I just like this, I've watched it as a kid and everything like that. And I knew it was going to be long, but for me, it's a quintessential revenge story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I like it. I think it's great acting, which is a real positive when you're watching an older movie because it doesn't have all of the bells and whistles that you get these days or even in the 80s and 90s. And so the acting matters a lot in those movies, and they all do a great job. But Charles Bronson's just great. I mean, he's known for that. I guess not even that particular style role, but just that style of acting, and he's usually really good at it. I think this is one of his better as far as just really capturing his role. But I love the Cheyenne story more. I think it's such an important part to the plot, and it ties everything together throughout the movie, especially right there at the end. And then, yeah, just especially what happens to him at the end, and again, not trying to wait too much of the movie, but they kind of finished it really well, right? Where you didn't know, like you said, you didn't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy, but you really know at the end, and then you have all these different mixed feelings that you had throughout the movie.
Right.
So a lot of good to it. The only bad, obviously, is it's 1968, and if you don't love movies and you don't really like to watch movies and you have a 5 minute attention span, is not the movie for you.
Well, especially for me, like being like a movie nerd and cinematography and stuff, the beginning, the beginning, like the 20-minute beginning, people with no attention span would hate it. But
Right.
it was so well shot and done. Like the anticipation, and you're like, what's going to happen here? And it took forever. And that's what I loved about it was it was building up to something. And then then we get the introduction of Charles Bronson.
Yeah. And they do it's like kind of back in the times of not the invention of it, but the use of different, you know, um, using the lenses differently and wide and short and angles and things like that and lighting where they had to be really good at that to make a quality movie with those type of sets. What are your thoughts, good and bad, on that one, Wes?
Well, the movie was an what 171 minutes in the original cut version, and over in Europe, I mean that's how it played. And and then the American version, they tried to cut it down to 2 hours, 140 minutes, and it flopped in the theaters. It's like I mean back then people could sit and watch a 3 hour movie. I mean the attention spans were like, you know, it is completely different. But it's just what stands out to me is I have really never watched Henry Fonda in a lot of movies until he was older. And so I couldn't appreciate him when he was younger. This movie, it just shows what a great actor he was. Because you always hear about what a great actor he was. And he's played such a great villain in this movie. So,
I always thought that that's a good role for him
Yeah.
when you think about it. Like just his mannerisms. I mean, obviously, an actor has all these in their bag, hopefully, but I think it's just one that he's really good at. So that made it again worth watching, right? Because if you're gonna watch this movie, you're watching it for more than just the story or the plot. You're watching for the acting. You're watching it for the cinematography. Uh, and just like the general movie nostalgia that goes with watching a movie from the 60s, especially a Western.
Yeah.
It's going to take you some time, but I give it a thumbs up. I think it's worth the watch.
I mean, at least watch it one time, even
Yeah.
if it takes you 5 days.
Yeah, you fall asleep a couple times, like I did. Like I fell asleep at 3 times because I have it. I have it on my DVR. I've had it on my DVR for 3 years,
Right.
and I'll turn it on and I'll fall asleep.
So I mean, it's worth it, right? I'm okay with that. the so the three movies we reviewed, we had Cape Fear, we had the Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, and then we had Once Upon a Time in the West. I think for this week's, those are all three thumbs up for me. Like nothing bad, nothing too bad to prevent you from watching these movies. If you haven't seen them, I think they're all three worth the watch.
Well, and it was interesting. Mine was the only one that it was the hero getting revenge. Both of yours was the villain going for
That is
revenge.
that is, and I thought about that for a second when I was putting the movies down on the list. I was like, okay, we got a little bit of a switch up here.
Only one got their revenge.
That's true. Well, I mean, he kind of still got revenge because even though Robert De Niro died, you ain't coming back from that experience
Yeah, that's true.
No, you're traumatized for life.
for life.
Yeah.
Oh man, but great movie. So as we wrap up here, final thought: we really do the best job we can of finding good movies to review, ones people haven't seen, ones we haven't seen, ones that people might be interested in. But any comments are really appreciated on what you'd like to see us review or genres, anything out there. So please jump in the comments and leave us some good tips for movies. Because remember, we got the wrap up of sports kind of for us. March Madness goes over and we go heavy on movies for you, right? So we'll have some good stuff for you this summer. All right, thanks for sticking around. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.